Welcome to the Zone Explorer.
Create that again? Is created by that? And maybe it is, but it's still not clear biologically. No one would tell you at the biological level that we understand chemically, biologically, how at a synapse you can actually create and store a memory.
So give me an alternative.
I'm willing to admit that we just don't know yet, and we need to do
you
more
think
science to figure it out.
Do you think that it's possible that the memory is encoded outside the scientific realm of investigation?
As a scientist, a responsible scientist, you have to say that one hypothesis that should be tested, besides the fact that the idea that memory is stored in the brain, is that memory is stored outside of the brain in a sea of consciousness. We haven't ruled out either, have we?
Well, the burden of proof would seem to be on you to see that's even a remote possibility, because that postulates the existence of something that we can't see. We can postulate that memories exist on a gold planet outside of the orbit of Pluto. We can postulate. How do you prove that's wrong?
There's just as much burden of proof, given how much we don't know, to show that memories themselves live and are stored in the brain versus outside the brain.
Hey there, and welcome to Zone Explorer. I hope this last clip didn't hit you too hard. In any case, I think it is a good teaser to show you in which direction I want to head with this channel. So some brief information about my personal journey with the Stalker franchise. For me it began about 20 years ago. I don't recall exactly how I became interested in it, but I think it started with German gaming magazines reporting about it around 2003-2004. My personal intrigue about the game was about the open world survival mechanics, but also the setting of urban exploration and general bleak atmosphere. When Shadow of Chernobyl was finally released back in 2007, I pre-ordered it directly as collector's edition, which also came with a book tie-in as a bonus. Even though much more cut down than initially promised by GSC, the game was not a disappointment to me at all. Back in the days, I also made some Stalker memes which also still float around in the internet. I also played Clear Sky and Call of Pripyat when they came out, so I remember Clear Sky having a horrible performance on my computer. And while I appreciated Call of Pripyat very much for having perfected the Stalker formula, I ultimately only rushed through it in my one and only playthrough due to having less time available for gaming back in 2009. Quite honestly, I did not have much contact with the Stalker franchise following 15 years, until it hit me from all sides.
The greatest temptation is trying to control something we do not fully understand. But what do we do when faced with truly inexplicable?
Stalker 2 was being close to release in November of 2024. And of course I had to revisit this franchise, which was so close to my heart back in the days. And boy, Stalker 2 did not disappoint me. Even though it unfortunately came out in a state much more terrible than Shadow of Chernobyl, its atmosphere was still a complete blast to me. And also its story, which very much builds upon the past games, intrigued me deeply. To a point where I feel very guilty for not having replayed the classic trilogy before starting with Stalker 2. While I considered back in the days Stalker's story more of an afterthought, I surprisingly find it to be more relevant today than ever. So this is where I want to make a point with the Zone Explorer channel. While its focus will be mainly nostalgic and atmospheric gameplay videos, I want to take the liberty of going a step further. Providing occasional commentary, deeper analysis and philosophical musings on themes and ideas contained within the Stalker franchise, as well as some occasional memes as interludes. I don't know how it will look at the end of the day, whether I even have the endurance to truly go deep within all episodes of this project or even bring this project to its end. But I think it's certainly worth the try and personally offers me the opportunity to explore and discuss concepts and ideas I otherwise would not have found a good reason to, and of course to share them with you. Ideally, I hope Zone Explorer to become an inspiring journey for anyone who wants to accompany me on it, a journey that also brings forward fantastic and intriguing ideas into light that have not been paid much attention to before. So I'm happy if you join me on this journey. And by the way, big shout out to GSC Game World. GSC was so generous and gifted me keys so that I could reclaim my games on Steam again, thus giving a little push start to enable this project in the first place. And if you have any ideas for this channel or would like to have something discussed, feel free to let me know and I will take it into consideration. Until then,